Let's start with a simple truth. Having anxiety does not mean you are broken. It does not mean you are weak. In fact, anxiety is a normal part of being human. It is a sign that your brain is working exactly as it was designed to. This feeling is an ancient survival mechanism, a built-in alarm system that has been passed down through generations. It is there to protect you, to keep you safe from danger. Think of it less as a fault and more as a feature, one that has helped our ancestors survive for thousands of years. It's just that sometimes this old system gets a bit confused by our modern world. Imagine one of our early ancestors walking through the veld. Suddenly they hear a rustle in the grass. Is it just the wind, or is it a predator like a lion hiding nearby? Their brain's alarm system, which we call the fight or flight response, would immediately switch on. Their heart would start pounding, their muscles would tense up, and they would become hyper-aware of every little sound. This response gave them the energy and focus needed to either fight the danger or run away as fast as they could. This system was brilliant for surviving real physical threats in the wild. Now, fast forward to today, 2025. We don't often face lions on our way to the shops. However, our brains haven't quite caught up with these changes. The same ancient alarm system that was designed for life or death situations now gets triggered by modern-day stresses. Instead of a lion, the trigger might be a big presentation at work, a difficult conversation with a loved one, or even just thinking about your long to-do list. Your brain can't always tell the difference between a real threat and a perceived one, so it rings the alarm bell just as loudly for an overflowing email inbox as it would for a predator. This is why anxiety can feel so overwhelming and out of place. Your body is preparing for a physical fight that never comes. It's getting ready to run from a danger that exists only in your thoughts. Understanding this is the first step toward taking back control. It's not about getting rid of anxiety completely, because it is a helpful emotion in the right context. It's about learning to recognize when the alarm is a false one and gently teaching your brain that you are safe. It's about learning to work with your brain, not against it. When that internal alarm bell starts ringing, your body listens straight away. It doesn't wait to ask questions, it just reacts. This reaction creates a whole range of physical feelings that can be very uncomfortable and even frightening. One of the first things you might notice is your heart. It might start beating much faster, thumping in your chest like a drum. This is your body pumping more blood to your muscles to prepare you for action. You might also feel a tightness in your chest, which can make you worry that something is seriously wrong. These feelings are just your body getting ready for a challenge. The feeling of anxiety doesn't just stay in your chest, it can travel all over your body. You might suddenly feel your hands start to tremble or shake, or your legs might feel wobbly and weak like jelly. Many people also get an upset stomach, feeling nauseous or like there are butterflies fluttering inside. This happens because your body is diverting energy away from non-essential functions, like digestion, to focus on survival. Your breathing might also change. It can become fast and shallow, which can make you feel dizzy or lightheaded, adding to the sense of panic and unease. These physical symptoms are important to recognize because they are clues. They are your body's way of telling you that your nervous system is on high alert. For some, it might be a headache that comes out of nowhere, or a sudden need to go to the toilet. For others, it might be sweaty palms or a dry mouth that makes it hard to speak. Each person experiences anxiety in their own unique way, but the underlying reason is the same. Your body is flooded with stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, getting you ready to face a perceived threat. It's crucial to remember that while these feelings are very real and very uncomfortable, they are not dangerous. A racing heart from anxiety feels scary, but it is not the same as a heart attack. A tight chest is your muscles tensing up, not a sign that you can't breathe. Knowing what is happening inside your body can take away some of the fear. When you can name the feeling, this is just my anxiety. My heart is racing because of adrenaline. You begin to separate yourself from the physical sensation. You can observe it without being consumed by it. Anxiety is clever, and it often works in a cycle that can be very hard to break. This is what we can call the anxiety loop. It all starts with a trigger. The trigger can be anything, a thought, a feeling, a memory, or a situation. For example, let's say the trigger is the thought, I am going to mess up this presentation. This thought, which might pop into your head all on its own, is the starting point. It's the spark that lights the fuse. Our brains are wired to pay attention to potential dangers, so we naturally grab onto this negative thought. Once you have the trigger thought, the next part of the loop kicks in, your behavior. In response to the uncomfortable feeling of anxiety, you might start to worry more. You might replay the feared outcome over and over in your mind. This worrying feels like you are doing something productive, like you are trying to solve the problem. But in reality, it just feeds the anxiety, making it stronger. This mental behavior, the act of worrying, is the second step in the loop. It tells your brain that the initial trigger thought was indeed important and dangerous. Now for the third and most tricky part of the loop, the reward. This might sound strange. How can anxiety be rewarding? The reward isn't a good feeling like happiness. Instead, the reward is often a sense of distraction or a temporary feeling of being in control. When you worry, you are distracted from the core feeling of uncertainty. Your brain mistakes this distraction for safety. It learns that when you feel anxious, worrying is the thing to do. So the next time a similar trigger comes up, your brain will automatically start the worry cycle again because it remembers it as a solution. This loop, trigger, behavior, reward, is how anxiety becomes a habit. Each time you go through the cycle, you strengthen the connection in your brain. The worry habit gets stronger and more automatic. Soon you find yourself stuck in this loop without even realizing how you got there. The key to breaking free is to become aware of this process. By noticing the loop as it happens, you can start to make a different choice. You can learn to step out of the cycle instead of letting it run on autopilot, which is the first real step towards lasting change. Once you see the anxiety loop in action, you can start to introduce new, healthier behaviors to break the cycle. Here are 4 simple, science-based strategies you can use. The first is a grounding technique called the 5-4-3-2-1 method. This is brilliant for when your mind is racing and you feel disconnected from your body. It pulls your attention out of your thoughts and into the present moment. You simply pause and notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This simple act anchors you in your senses. The second strategy is deep, mindful breathing. When you're anxious, your breathing becomes shallow and quick, which tells your brain there's danger. You can reverse this signal by intentionally slowing down your breath. Try the box breathing technique. Breathe in slowly for a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 4, breathe out slowly for a count of 4, and then hold for a count of 4. Repeat this several times. This sends a message of calm to your nervous system, telling it that the threat has passed and it's safe to relax. It's a powerful way to reset your physical state. The third tool is movement. Anxiety floods your body with energy meant for fighting or fleeing. If you just sit with that energy, it can feel awful. A great way to use it up is to move your body. You don't have to run a marathon. Even a short, brisk walk around the block can make a massive difference. You could also try stretching, dancing to your favorite song for a few minutes, or doing a few jumping jacks. Physical activity releases endorphins, which are natural mood lifters, and it helps to complete the stress cycle, allowing your body to return to a state of rest. The final strategy involves changing your self-talk. The stories we tell ourselves have a huge impact on how we feel. When you are anxious, your inner voice can be very critical. You can learn to challenge and reframe these thoughts. When you notice a worried thought, ask yourself, is this thought 100% true? Is there another, more helpful way to look at this situation? You can try replacing a thought like, I can't handle this, with something kinder and more realistic, like, this is a challenge, but I have handled difficult things before. I can take it one step at a time. This shifts your mindset from fear to empowerment. Living with anxiety can sometimes feel like you are lost in a thick fog with no clear path forward. It can be isolating, making you believe that you are the only one who feels this way. But please know this, you are not alone. Millions of people around the world understand the weight of anxiety because they carry it too. There is incredible strength in knowing that this is a shared human experience. You are part of a massive, unseen community of people who are all learning to navigate their inner worlds just like you are. You are stronger than your anxiety. Taking back control is not about a single dramatic battle that you win once and for all. It is a journey made up of many small, courageous steps. It's about choosing to try a breathing exercise when you feel your chest tighten. It's about being kind to yourself on days when the anxiety feels louder. Each time you use one of the strategies, grounding, breathing, moving, or reframing your thoughts, you are casting a vote for a new way of being. You are actively rewiring your brain, weakening the old anxiety habit loop, and building a new habit of calm and awareness. Be patient and compassionate with yourself through this process. There will be good days and there will be tough days, and that is perfectly okay. Progress is not a straight line. The goal is not to never feel anxious again. The goal is to change your relationship with anxiety. It's about learning to see it when it shows up, to greet it with curiosity instead of fear, and to know that you have the tools to guide yourself back to a place of balance. You are learning a new skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. Remember, every small step you take is a victory. Every time you notice the loop without getting stuck in it, you are reclaiming your power. You have the capacity within you to understand your mind and to steer it with intention. The fog will lift, the path will become clearer. You are capable, you are resilient, and you can learn to unwind anxiety, one breath, one step, one moment at a time. You have got this, and you are well on your way.